Hello, my name is Jason Atkins. I'm the director of the One Test Prep, and I wanted to make this video to give the explanation for how the exam question that I posted on Facebook and all over social media, how we break it down. I usually don't do this, but this one I felt like it was important to provide a detailed explanation about how we found the key and what we focus on in the rationale. So here's our process. So if we look at this, there's a couple ways we can break this down. We could first look at the STEM, right? And anyone who attends any of our live study groups will tell you that the key is hidden in the STEM is an absolute definite that we must use in our program at all times. That if you're looking for the key, you'll always find it in the STEM. And I'm using STEM because this is what ASWB calls this part of the work, the STEM. So there's a couple ways we can do it. We could definitely do highlighting, right? What's important in the first part of the STEM? We could see that it's a second grade teacher, right, that does the consult. So we can highlight that. Highlights it's specifically not just a social worker, but the school social worker. That makes a big difference into what's going on. The student has had chemo, lost all hair, so that's going to be important. And the student is sad, right? Doing poorly in school and not participating, right? And so we know that it's already in bold here. What should the social worker do first? Now, this helps us kind of focus on what's important in the STEM and what will lead us to the correct key. We can also use elimination, right, as a form. We can go through these four choices and figure out that even if we're looking for first, right, then that means that all four of these options might be reasonable options for the social worker to do. Which one will we prioritize? Which one is going to be the first thing to happen? So let's eliminate something that we know is a good idea, but will not be first. So are we going to refer the child to a children's cancer support group? I mean, that's not a bad idea, but we're not going to do that first. Okay. It's great for the kid to get support with other people, to feel connected, but that's not going to be the priority, the primary thing that we do. Another thing that you guys in the Facebook group particularly have already, marked or chosen is to help the teacher understand the effects of chemotherapy on mood and energy. And again, while that might be useful and important, it's not going to be first. It's not going to be the primary thing that we focus on to resolve this. So the two most chosen answers in the poll were contact the parents or explore the student's feelings. And this one is so tough because as a social worker, we love to explore. We know how important it is to explore. We know the value of exploration. And exploring is a big part of the stage of the exam, of the question that we're in. So for that, I do want to do an additional way that we use, a tool that we use in the One Test Prep called the context, right? And the content. The context and the content is a way to break down an exam item to see what is, happening in the STEM, since the key is always hidden in the STEM. What's happening in the STEM to really give us, help lead us to the key. So the context, let's start with who are the key people involved in this. Well, we're going to go second grade teacher, right, is one of the people involved. We're going to say the school social worker is involved. And we know that the student is one of the key people involved in the STEM. These are people that are mentioned in the STEM that are important in the STEM. And this is, where we're focused, right? So this is the who. Where is this conversation taking place? Right? Where, are they having this conversation? Is the school social worker encountering this scenario, this vignette, while sitting at home and reading email? Are they encountering this vignette or this situation at the at the lunchroom at school, in the teacher lounge, it's most likely, we're going to say most likely in the office at school, right? Because this is where the consults generally go. That if this teacher sent a consult, it's most likely a consult that the school social worker received while in the office at school. It doesn't say that explicitly, but it's implied, and it's worth it to get that, identified, right? So we know who, we know where. Let's figure out when, right? Social work happens in 3 phases: the intake phase, the intake or assessment phase, the treatment or intervention phase, and then termination. Well, this is not termination, and this is definitely not intervention phase. This is clearly the intake or assessment phase, because the social worker has not met the patient yet, the second grader, and doesn't know anything. So it's just the beginning, it's the onset. So now we know who, we know where, and we know when. So now let's get down here and let's talk about the what. What is going on? Let's summarize what is happening based on the information in the STEM. So we know that this kid is a second grader who has cancer and is feeling depressed. I think that all that is pretty evident. I think that's the most kind of key thing here. And then the question is, what should the social worker do first? So now with that information, I'm going to pull up the key and rationale here on the bottom of the screen, and let's see if we can really break this down for understanding. All right. So it says here, I'll just delete that other stuff. It says here that the social worker needs more information to inform treatment and should gather this information from the child's parents. A support group referral may be appropriate later, but not first. Helping the teacher understand the effects does not address the student's behaviors, which may lead to further deterioration of the situation. An exploration of the student's feelings may be appropriate, but not as the social worker's first action. You got to talk to the parents. The parents are critical. When we're talking about a second grader, right? We're talking about a child who is maybe 8 years old, 7 years old. This is a young child. And even though you're the school social worker and you haven't met the patient yet, or the child yet, you gotta connect with the parents to gain more information. This is the key. So we'll put it in bold here as well. Can we put it in bold? I guess there we go. And we'll even make it bigger so that everyone knows that this is the key, right? And this is a breakdown of how we do it at the One Test Prep. I wanted to just give you guys a quick example, a quick view of it. Here is our website, theonetestprep.com. Our live study groups, all you gotta do is click right here and you get right into the live study groups. You can sign up. Enrollment is $10, but the first session is free. We have them every Saturday, and I urge you guys to join us as quickly as possible. All you got to do is click right here, subscribe, and fill out the forms, and you'll get started right away. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for paying attention to this. And I really hope that you as a social worker have grown a little bit in your process from having watched this video. And thank you so much for your time again. Take care.